us or die. We got Death Star, 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 we got Death Star. And you know that we got it, Death Star, and you know that we got it.
Dude, get your ass over here right now. Quit monkeying around with that damn land speeder. Where them two droids I asked you to clean, boy? You clean your room?
I'm glowing. I know I'm on probation. I clean the droids. Can I go to the Hashi station? I gotta lay away on the power converter. But now you're treating me like a scruffy nerf murder.
Use the force and run. Run to Dagobah. Run to Dagobah. Use the force and run. Run to Dagobah. Run to Dagobah.
I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier. I'm loaded and loaded. I thought I told ya. Don't be unwise. Don't be not by my side. You won't believe your eyes. Watch the X-Wing rise.
Yoda, why you being a player hater? You know that I still must confront Lord Vader.
But Luke, not ready are you?
But there's a city in the clouds where they keeping my crew. A Jedi's gotta do what a Jedi's gotta do. So now Vader, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, that's right, R2. I just set a new course. We're going to Cloud City. It's a mighty good gin and tonic, which makes me up another.
Impressive, now release your anger. You must have sensed that your prisoner is danger.
Oh, I just sliced off my hand.
It's imperative that you understand. Obi-Wan would never bother. Tell him about your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
Then there's something I must reveal. Then I'm your father. 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 I'm your father.
Okay. Here we go. Alright, welcome back to the Kessel Run. I've got a special treat here today. We're going to be doing Star Wars The Force Unleashed 6th generation version. If you are familiar with The Force Unleashed, this may not be the version that you played. Most people played the PC, PS3, and Xbox 360 version of this game. This version, developed by a completely different studio, is a completely different version of the game from the ground up than the PC version that you might be familiar with. This version is on Wii, PS2, PSP, and there is a re-release of the game on Switch. So, alright, the category we are going to be doing is New Game Plus. If you're familiar, that is starting the game over from the beginning and completing it with upgrades obtained from previous playthroughs. Now, we can go ahead and get started. So, the timer will begin when I agree to the autosave. Hey, Felicia and Novice, great to see you here. Alright, let's go. And we're going. Great to hear that somebody has played this game on PSP. Yeah, it's very interesting. So we can skip cutscenes in this game, so we'll be skipping all of the cutscenes for the sake of speed. And if you are familiar with The Force Unleashed, you may recall that on all versions of the game, you start out playing as Darth Vader. This is a very memorable beginning to the game, in my opinion. The level's a little different than how you may remember it from the other version of the game. Now, what I'm doing here, already getting a little stopped up by Wookiees though. What I'm doing here now while I'm walking is I'm rapidly pressing the choke button. Interestingly, Vader walks faster while he is mid-choke. So it's faster to rapidly press it, and by rapidly pressing it, you don't actually lose any force, but Vader does the animation, so it's a little quicker, and you don't lose any of your force meter. Now, here we're coming up on the first, well, we call them push barriers, because you have to stop in front of them, charge a force push, and then break through them. There are several of these throughout the game, and a lot of our strats really revolve around getting through those quickly and without getting stopped. There will be some very high stress ones later in the run that we will see if I get or not. And actually early in the run too. We're not immune from it in the beginning. This game is a lot of this. Little low on health here. Shouldn't be a problem. Do that. Yeah, there's some health. Good. Do that force repulse ability that this game was made a little famous for. One of the things that this game is famous for. It was in all the commercials. It knocks the Wookiees off of you very quickly. Alright, we're doing pretty good here. I have had worse Darth Vader levels, that's for sure. Those Wookiees just auto-die, no one knows why. Alright, make it to this elevator and we're on to the first boss of the game-ish. First we have to fight an enemy mob of Wookiees. Wanted to hit that Wookiee with a saber throw, but it looks like my repulse got him, so we're good. The Wookiees always... that was an accident. Wookiees always spawn behind you during this section, so it's best to keep turning your camera and facing different directions. There we go, that's all the Wookiees. Now on to the first boss fight, Rogue Jedi. One of the tougher ones, in fact. That was a great first phase. Got him pretty quick. Oh, great Rogue Jedi fight. Absolutely excellent fight. That was fantastic. Every boss fight ends with these, a quick time event. On Wii, you just have to swing the nunchuck or Wii remote in a particular direction and not mess up, which is a little tricky. That was a new best Darth Vader prologue on Wii for me. I'm going to have to get a clip of that. I believe that was under 4 minutes. First time I've ever gotten under 4 minutes. That was a great start. So that's the first level of the game. We're done with that, and on to the main game, where we will be playing as Starkiller, Darth Vader's secret apprentice. Yeah, that was pretty good. Under 4 minutes on Wii is pretty solid. That's what we want. Alright, now we're in the TIE construction yard on our way to find and assassinate General Rom Koda. As you may have noticed, I am not a Starkiller, I am Mara Jade. That is because for New Game Plus, we allow the use of what we call cheat code skins. They're skins that you can unlock by using cheat codes. They're only cosmetic, they do nothing else, and we decided that for New Game Plus, it's more fun to be able to use these, because one, they're fun and they're cool, and beyond that though, they're actually a couple seconds faster. They skip cutscenes automatically when you, not completely automatically, but a little bit faster. It skips scene transitions when... There we go. Gotta jump on top of that TIE fighter. Jump up here. Do a skip here to clip through there. And again there. And then jump up. And that's good. Did that skip very cleanly. Now let's try for the next one. TIE Construction Yard has two... Oop, don't lock onto the mouse droid and lose several seconds. Unknown amount of time. I always like to get behind corners to charge my force push because enemies have a tougher time shooting you, which will knock you out of it and you have to start over. Those are the big time losses. You really... A lot of the strats revolve around not getting stopped, really. I feel like I'm missing a militia trooper because of the size of the bar, but maybe not. Here you can kill these guys as soon as they... Yep, just like that. Oop. Now, you may see Starkiller moves quickly by dashing through the level. That's an ability we have to dash. And the tricky part of that is, though, that the dash will auto-lock on certain enemies that you slide by, and it can mess up your movement, so that's actually it takes quite a bit of practice. Okay. Okay. This is a skip where we jump up these platforms that we're not technically supposed to be able to jump up. That's okay. That's okay. Try that again. To skip waiting for an elevator and skipping an elevator ride. And there we go. That's good. We got up to the top, only fell off a little bit once. Not bad. At several points in the game like that, you have to kill enemies who are in a mob with an enemy health bar. Ugh. On large bosses, such as this ATST, we use a strat that you may have just seen there, where we use the lightning ability and the saber throw ability at the same time. We call it either the lightning throw or the lightning saber throw. Oop, got knocked by that explosion. No, and that one too. Not great. That ability just tears apart the large bosses in the game, such as ATSTs, Rancors, so on and so forth. The large mechanical or animal bosses. And we have a different strat for dealing with some other bosses. Alright, now we're at the end of this level. Fighting Ram Koda. Couldn't really see it there because the cutscene blocks the animation, but our strat for fighting almost all, well, indeed all, of the Jedi and Sith bosses in the game is using this ability called Aerial Assault. It's a jump and then a force push to get after that. And by doing that, the Jedi and Sith bosses have a high capacity to block most of your attacks, but they just have a terrible time blocking this one. So really, it's the only consistent attack you can lay on them to deal a lot of damage quickly each time. Pretty good TIE Construction Yard. Not bad. Not a bad Ram Koda fight either. Yes, Felicia mentioned the PSP port's exclusive content. I will be, in fact, doing the PSP historic missions after this run, so stick around, and we'll be doing that next. It's pretty short. It's about well, I'd hope for about 12 minutes. It's not long. It's just a little bonus to this run, really. Alright, moving on to the first Jedi Temple visit of the game. You visit the Jedi Temple 3 times. In each one, Starkiller has to, like, pass a Jedi test that the Force just, like, bestows on him, I guess. This is the shortest level of the game, though. There's actually nothing that stops you from the beginning of the level to get straight to the boss. There's no push barriers, there are no enemy mobs that must be killed. You can skip every enemy and simply jump and dash straight to the end and fight the boss. This is so far a pretty good run. But we will get there, I'm sure. The level after this one is the one that'll do it if it's going to happen. We have a very tough early level in this game. These bosses also sometimes have invincibility frames where you have to wait for them to perform certain attacks to hurt them. And that was the vision of Darth Desolus that we just defeated, a character that they made up for this game, I'm pretty sure. And he is cake. Really easy boss. I agree. 6th gen to me is the definitive version of this game. I think the story is much I don't know, I guess clearer is the way I would put it. Like it just makes more sense, you know? I feel like a lot of things in the PC version are like, well, okay, that's a little shoehorned or whatever, you know. Alright, now we are on Raxus Prime. This is the first of 2 visits to this planet in the game, and it is really probably one of the toughest levels of the speedrun. There's so very much that can just go wrong in this level. The strats are very precise. They're almost all about getting through these push barriers quickly. Some of them are boss skips. It's rough. It's just a rough level. Some of them just don't work sometimes because of bugs, but they're like clearly the best idea, so you really just have to try, even though it might not work. Alright, on to this guy who's a bane of my personal existence, Junk Behemoth. He is annoying. He just has a tendency... Sorry, my mic shut off there. It happens sometimes. He's trolling me extremely hard. This happens sometimes, though. He's just a killer. Oh, God. Really doing, like, no damage to him. Way too long of a Junk Behemoth fight. Ah, and accidentally on Wii, we started the QuickTime event. Not every boss has to be defeated with this. And on Wii, it's actually really easy to accidentally start them, which is what happened there. So that's unfortunate. Not only was it a slow fight, but we got the QuickTime event at the end. We don't want that. But moving on, I'll be more careful about it with the coming ones. This is a room where there's a push barrier at the end of the level, and we are trying to clear the room out on our way to the end of the level so that nothing shoots us while we try to open it. I think so far so good. Let's try. Oh, he didn't die. That's bad. Oh, that's bad too. Make it. Oh, we got shot. Okay. Let's push him away. Kill whatever's shooting us, which is... Ugh, go that way. Oh, man. Okay, I think we're good now. Unfortunate, but I think we're good. Yeah, see, this level's just tough. Happens all the time. See if we can get this next push barrier without getting stopped. Do that, we come in and kill these golems first. Jump behind. Ah, this one didn't work either. See, now these junk dogs, these large enemies, they will do this thing when they animate, when they spawn, they rise out of the ground, and there's a bug where sometimes they just don't do that. They rise instantly. They just appear and start attacking you. But the thing is, 2 of our strats in this level revolve around getting behind them and using them as like human shields while they're doing their spawning animation and rising out of the ground. So if they don't do that, the strat kind of just falls through. Which is unfortunate, but in a run it's usually worth the attempt because of how fast it is, and it just makes Raxus Prime a very reset-heavy level. Here, by getting to the end of that room and getting through that barrier without getting hit, we skip that junk behemoth fight. Yeah, Raxus sucks in every version of this game. It's just a rough one. Alright, here we have a new strat for dealing with Drexel, but he's not letting me do it. Okay, I don't know why he's not letting me do it. We're gonna go a little old school and choke him instead. And attack him with our lightsaber. There we go, he's dead. Very odd Raxus Prime, but that is the way it goes. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. If there was any level... Alright, here we do the junk dog thing again, where we stand behind him. That time, a different bug happened that I see much less frequently, where the dog doesn't rise at all, and we're not blocked. Which is just as bad. We have to clear the room if this happens. So yeah, this was a reset Raxus Prime. If this was a regular run, we would have called it by now. Because we got the bugs every time. Alright, I think that's the end of them. Let's go and get through this door. Alright, we're good. Now, moving on to the Junk Titan. The second to final boss of this level, but the one that's actually harder, for sure. We defeat him by throwing things at him. It's one of the things that just deals the most damage to him, really. I prefer to throw these bombs, but he's not behaving well and allowing me to. He's actually destroying all of them while I'm trying to do so, so I think I'm just gonna have to give up on him. And he caught me in a thing. You sometimes get into these locked QuickTime events if you and a boss attack each other at the same time. That's what happened there. Let's get his health down. It's much too long of a Raxus. We're almost there. The golems are actually hitting him a lot, which is funny, because that isn't normally what happens. Alright, he's probably good. Let's bait him. Bait him into attacking, and if the QuickTime event starts with a nunchuck, then you know it's going to kill him. If it starts with the Wii Remote, it won't kill him. It'll just do a small amount of damage to him, which is a lot of time for virtually nothing, so we don't do that. Alright, we got him. Now on to the final boss of this level, Kazdan Paratus, a Jedi who has gone insane in hiding and built a Jedi temple out of junk. He's also controlling all of the junk monsters that we've been seeing and fighting throughout the level. But he's also a piece of cake. You simply keep doing this strat on him. He's really not that hard. Alright. Excuse me. That is Raxus 1. Glad to be past it. Moving on now to the second Jedi Temple visit. $100 viewers. Just took a look at that. Though, I could mention this. The leaderboard for this game we split by console because the load times for each console vary wildly. Wii is actually the slowest version of the game, clocking in about 2 minutes slower even than the next slowest, which is PS2 on console. Another popular way to run this game has been PS2 emulator, which is a little bit faster than PS2 console. And the re-release of this game on the Switch is by far the fastest. The Switch version is about 9 minutes faster than the Wii version just on loads alone. Nothing else contributing. And there is a couple of more things that could contribute to that too. Alright, almost done with the second Jedi Temple level. These are pretty short. In this one, we fight the vision of Darth Phobos, another character I'm pretty sure got made up for this game. We have a strat here where if you push her against this wall and kill her fast enough, I might still get it, but she hit me there. It's a little weird. Yeah, we got it. You can. She normally has a cutscene that plays in the middle of her match. And if you get her health down fast enough, you can avoid it. We call that fast Phobos. Alright, Jedi Temple 2 done. Moving on. Yeah, Phobos is pretty awesome. I mean, either that or she's just hot. It's hard to tell. One or the other. Next up, Felucia, where we will be hunting down Jedi Master Shaak Ti. This game is, if you're familiar with a lot of Star Wars stuff, you might know that Shaak Ti has had several canon deaths in throughout the years, and they've all replaced each other each time. And this game was one of them for a while, but obviously this game is no longer canon. This game has long since been decanonized due to the Disney buyout, which I think you should all talk about in the comments. I think that's a great idea. I'm gonna play this room a little safe. Which should be good. Yeah, good. Oh my god, you guys need to die. They're like not actually dying. They're just getting pushed around. I think it's just this last guy, or maybe one more. That should do it. Yeah, good. Alright, moving on. Next we fight a Rancor, one of a few that we fight in this game, really. They actually come up a few times. I'm going to be careful not to do the quick time event, and which means I can't use the saber throw ability on him until he's defeated, because if I swing the Wii remote, it'll trigger the cutscene, so we don't want that. You got to be careful. That's basically what caused me to do the cutscene on Junk Behemoth, actually. This tunnel area is a maze, but there is a fast way through it. The only concern is enemies that come and try and stop you. But these poison gas clouds that you can run past tend to stop them, and you can manipulate them a little bit to get the enemies stuck, and that's always nice. Oops. So, Wii is really the slowest version of this game for a bunch of reasons. It's the load times is really the big one, but beyond that, the controls are just difficult. It's like the hardest way to play this game, which is part of the reason I wanted to do it during this. I thought that would be fun to show off. Here we fight 2 Rancors at the same time, but we make pretty quick work of them. And we move on. That's really the last big thing stopping us to the end of the level. We now go and fight Shaak Ti. That is true. All of this game like meant to clarify that all of the Rancors we've like ever seen in Star Wars are females. Because in this game you fight on the second visit to Felucia a Bull Rancor, which is its name, and it's like it's a man Rancor. It's big and it's got bigger tusks and it tusks and it's crazy. Whoops. That stuff can happen too. For instance, I just scratched my nose, but because I moved the nunchuck to do so, I did a force push. Because this is a good and well-made game. And that's just the Wii, though. I shouldn't even blame the game. That's just how it goes. Rough. Kill some of those guys. Awkward Shakti so far. She can be a real troll, honestly, because she has this healing ability, and she also calls in enemies to... And sometimes she just doesn't get hurt when she's doing it like that. I'm trying my best, but she's just not taking damage. Ugh. This happens. She won't get out of it. There we go. Alright. Looks like we are live again, so we're gonna continue from here. Excuse me. Sorry about that, everybody. That was the restreamer's internet connection cut out. That's why the stream cut out for everybody like that. No worries. Things happen. So, we finished up fighting Shock T there. Echo? There's an echo now? There shouldn't be. Someone said something about that. Somebody can look into that. So in the next level is actually just a cutscene where Darth Vader betrays you and hands you over to the Emperor. But he saves you after that and says the Emperor needed to believe he was dead, and it's like all the whole deception story of this. Looks like the echo's been taken care of. Probably was just a side effect of it when we came back. Next level of the game is Nar Shaddaa. We are here looking for Ram Koda, the first boss of the game that Starkiller fought, because Starkiller needs a Jedi Master, and he believes that Ram Koda is still alive. So that's what we're doing here. Darth Vader has tasked Starkiller with finding a group of rebels, getting rebels together in one place so that they can distract the Emperor, and Vader and Starkiller can kill him and take their place. But Starkiller's got a surprise twist coming for him, as does the audience, with the end of this plot. Okay, we're good here. Good. Moving on. I want to say we lost about 10 minutes to the cutout, so I'm gonna, for the sake of trying to figure out how good this run is, I'm gonna subtract about 10 from the time that we get. And but that also means almost for sure we're gonna be behind. I only gave about an 8-minute window in my estimate. So schedule-wise, we'll have to deal with that, I suppose. Here we fight a fan favorite enemy, the Shadow Guard. People like him a lot. He's really cool. They're like the Crimson Guards of the Emperor's bodyguard, but they're black and they have lightsabers. Very neat. Alright, but that's Nar Shaddaa, and we're moving on. Next up, the third and final visit to the Jedi Temple. Kill some stormtroopers as we come in here. Have to progress. Not optional. There, we got those stormtroopers to spawn. By walking to the end of that room, walking back towards the middle, and then turning around again, you can get more weak stormtroopers to spawn. And the weak... I don't know why I'm not dashing. And the weak stormtroopers are easier to kill for the enemy mob's health bar, than the strong ones are, obviously. So we kill the weak ones when we can, and leave the strong ones. Right behind me there, we kill the stormtroopers with guns in that room so that they can't shoot me while I'm opening that push barrier. And the sword-wielding stormtroopers do not have they can catch up to you, but if you're quick, you should be able to make it fine. The surprise twist at the end of this level is that the vision you will be fighting on this trip to the Jedi Temple is of your father. That Vader killed in the beginning of the game. Oh my god. Starkiller enters the room. And he's quite a troll. He is really one of the least favorites of the run, I think, among all runners. Nobody likes Rogue Jedi. Vader kills Rogue Jedi and takes Starkiller as a young child away from him and turns him into his apprentice. I can't believe I got caught into a force lock with him. That was pretty quick, though. I think he'll also be good to go after this. Nope. There he is. One more was needed. Don't want to mess these up. There we go. But yeah, Starkiller walks into the room and sees a vision of Vader and him fighting over Starkiller's life. And Starkiller doesn't seem to remember who his father is and sides with Vader. He realizes at the end, and it's a very like soon-to-be light side moment for Starkiller. As you may know, this game takes an interesting and different approach storytelling-wise. The PC version does too. It's really just the broader story of both versions. That but Starkiller starts as a dark side character, and his journey is going back to the light side. And people said that Battlefront 2 2017 made that up. Alright, so this is Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk is, we were here for the prologue, but this is the only visit that Starkiller has to Kashyyyk. This is one of the toughest levels in the game for the speedrun because it's got two major skips. This is the first one, which we got first try. Very good. You jump over that push barrier. Break through this door for the second skip. And we use the Stormtrooper. Ah, oh, he missed me. You use the Stormtrooper's shot to push yourself over the wall. Hopefully it works. Ah, dang. It's 2 tries. Ideally, you get it as soon as you come in the room, but that was bad. I don't know why I did a ground slam. That's the Wii remote for you. Sometimes it thinks a sideways slash is a... He's not pushing me over. This is too early. There we go. We got it. That's what it looks like, but ideally you'd get it first try. But we're moving on. So those are 2 pretty cool skips. Both of them skip different requirements to get through the level. If you don't do the skip I just did, you would have to fight a very long and difficult group of stormtroopers, but that skips it, so that saves a lot of time if you get it first try. The first skip I did, where I jumped over the push barrier, was the big tall push barrier, was that skips the AT-ST fight in the beginning, and also just like makes your approach to that push barrier a little clearer. So that was solid. Not such a bad Kashyyyk, really. We got both of the skips, at least. Didn't have to give up on either of them. Now we fight Ozzik Stern, an Imperial commander, in a decked-out AT-ST. He's got these shield generators that defend him. You have to hit him while he's vulnerable. That was a pretty good second round. It's possible, though quite difficult on Wii, not actually I can't see. I hate that attack of his. Though quite difficult on Wii to defeat him before all of his shield generators are destroyed. I don't expect to do that here. I probably won't. I don't think I've ever gotten that on Wii. But it's actually a lot easier on PS2 and PSP and Switch as well. Oh! Oh, nope. See, that's the thing. The saber throw registers poorly. So on PS2 and PSP and Switch with an actual controller, you can, like, much easier spam saber throw. But on Wii, it's a Wii remote swing while holding the A button. So it's like, it swings when it registers the Wii remote swing, which if you've ever played a Wii before, you know is never. Now we are on our second trip to Felucia. Alright, moving on. Kill that group of stormtroopers and get through this barrier. Moving on. This next push barrier is possibly one of the worst in the game, in that we have absolutely no idea of a fast way to get through it. We really just kind of wing it every time, and nothing's consistent is the problem. The Felucians almost always can catch up with you before you're able to do it. There's no good way to, like, hide behind anything. You kind of have to either get lucky and they don't hit you, or kill a lot of the Felucians that are attacking you. Here, we are running through this Imperial base, cutting corners whenever we can to save a little bit of time. What we're doing on Felucia, again, is we're looking for Bail Organa. Bail Organa came here looking for Shaak Ti, not realizing that she is dead. Whoops on that one. That's our bad. And we're coming here to rescue him. On Kashyyyk, we were saving Princess Leia. She was captured by Imperials. And now we're getting Bail. This is the beginning of Starkiller getting his rebels together for Darth Vader. Alright, now we fight the Bull Rancor that I mentioned earlier. I'm curious if it goes well. We'll see. Not really. He already got alerted. It's because you can't spam the saber throw ability as well as we'd like to. That's really what it comes down to. It just doesn't work as good. Wii's also very laggy. Unlike the other Rancors, though, we do want to do the QuickTime event on him, because it's the only way to defeat him. He won't die unless you do the QuickTime event. There it is. So that was a pretty quick fight, all the same. Not perfect. He can be done in really about 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds now. But not bad all the same. And after the Bull Rancor fight, all that is left is fighting Shaak Ti's apprentice, whom we did not face last time we were here, Maris Brood, a female Zabrak. First phase is pretty easy. You just hit her 3 times with aerial assault. The next phase, she'll call in Felucians, and they can be real hassle. But we got through it fine. Then she has a Rancor that you have to defeat, which shouldn't be too bad for us. Throw one more saber throw, and then lightning. Oh, come on. Almost there. And he's dead. And now Maris Brood gets all of her health back, but nothing will prevent us from defeating her from this point forward.
This will be over soon enough.
If we get locked in a force lock with Maris, we actually intentionally lose it. Though I've been curious lately if it's actually better to win it on Wii, because it seems that those force locks are slower if you lose them on Wii. And the reason is that the winning animation with the force lock with Maris Brood is really long and doesn't do that much damage to her. She won't break her block. I'm going to have to. That was unfortunate. She would not stop. She was just sitting and waiting for me to do that. So this is the winning one. It's slow and long, but if you lose it, she just pushes you away, and it's very quick. I think on... honestly, I think on Wii it's probably not faster. I've been thinking about that lately. And on PS2 it's a lot quicker, but Wii, I don't know. Might be better to win either way on Wii. And that's Maris Brood. And our second visit to Felucia. 3 levels left in the game out of our total of 13. Wii and its long loading times. First up of our last 3 levels is Raxus Prime again. We come here for our second visit. This is a pretty tough level for the speedrun. We'll see how we do. I'll explain it as we get there. But first, just start and begin going through the level. What has brought us to Raxus Prime 2 this time, or what has brought us to this planet again is that Starkiller and his rebels need a target to attack, an Imperial target that will really say something and convince people that open rebellion is possible against the Empire, which many rebels do not really believe at this time in canon. So, you are here to destroy a Imperial Star Destroyer construction yard that is above Raxus Prime. You are going to point a cannon at it and blow it up. And if you're a fan of The Force Unleashed, then that means you know what's coming next as well. Though we won't get to see it, what I'm referring to is the famous part of this game where Starkiller pulls a wayward Star Destroyer out of the sky with the Force and crashes it into the ground. Very famous part, just cool cutscene, you know, like memorable trailer moment kind of thing. And the problem, though, is that if you're familiar only with the PC version, you might be like, wow, I wonder what that part of the game looks like. Because on the PC version, you had to actually play that. Not in this version. In this version, Starkiller pulling the Star Destroyer out of the sky is just a cutscene and nothing more. You do not actually have to play it. Now, I have toyed with the PC version of this game as well. I'm not a runner of that game. I thought about it, but I'm not. And part of the reason is that I hate that Star Destroyer part. Excuse me. It is very difficult to do quickly. It's really just annoying to control. I think many people will agree that while it's cool, it's actually really a giant hassle to do that part of the game. So I always liked that it was just a cutscene in this version of the game. I'm a fan of that. Now this part of the level that I'm going through now is what we call we the runners of this game call the Gauntlet, because it's a long stretch in this level after you fight the ATST that I just fought, where there's several push barriers and force field generators in your way. And if you are good at it, and if you plan it properly and execute it well, you can pretty much get through all of them without... Ooh, that was weird. That one... Hey, let's say it with me, everybody. That's never happened before. That's a marathon catchphrase. But you can get through without really being stopped in a major way, without the enemies that you're passing catching up to you. It's tough to do so, but so far so good. We're under the last third of it now. Use Starkiller's Maelstrom ability, which is like an advanced repulse, to quickly destroy the force field generators. Kill all the stormtroopers up top up here. I think we're good. Blow open this door. Jump over these shock troopers. We're gonna quickly push them, get them out of the way, and hope that the stormtroopers behind us don't shoot. We made it! We got through the gauntlet without getting stopped. That is very good. That happens with practice. It gets more consistent. It's not impossible, but it doesn't make it not tough. And that's it for Raxus 2. The level, that is. We still have to fight the boss of the level, which is a revisit of the Shadow Guard from Nar Shaddaa. Pretty sure it's supposed to be a different Shadow Guard, because I think you killed both of them, but either way. It's another Shadow Guard. It's pretty easy. He's got some invincibility frames to be aware of, but we just finished him off. Yes, the Raxus Prime revisit level is just iconic, no matter the version of the game. So we just skipped the Star Destroyer cutscene, so I'm sorry that we didn't get to see that, but, you know, speedrun. Oh, that's cool that you recently beat this game on PS2. The PS2 version is the same one as this, for those who are not aware. I mentioned it, but... Second to last level of the game. We are moving on to Cloud City. Here we are recruiting one final rebel to our alliance that we are creating for Darth Vader. Senator Garm Bel Iblis. He is a EU character that made a return in this game, I believe. That I know some people are a fan of him. Now, the funny thing is, in both versions of the game, you go to Cloud City, but in different parts of the story and for different reasons. You don't go to Cloud City in the PC version. You don't go to Cloud City to rescue Garm Bel Iblis. You go to Cloud City to find Ram Koda, making it the same like story level as the Nar Shaddaa level in this one. They just like flipped them. It's really weird. And in the PC version, there is no just like regular Nar Shaddaa level. Whoops. Okay, jump over him. We're good. Cloud City is the longest level of this game by kind of a lot. We found some good skips that make it better, but doesn't make it not difficult one way or the other. It's still long, you know, like it's hard to cut out a lot. Upcoming here, we have a very cool skip that we recently discovered called Mandalorian Skip. After fighting this group of Chopa's thugs, Chopa is the leader of these mercenaries who are attacking Cloud City and holding Senator Garm hostage. After defeating two groups of them, that was the first, we're on to the next, you can pause the game and return to Rogue Shadow, which is your ship. It's an option you always have to quit the level and return to Rogue Shadow. But the interesting thing is that it actually... Oh my gosh, they're really all over me. Doesn't really matter because you have to wait for the ship anyway, but it's just annoying. These guys suck. Worst enemies. Maybe besides maybe Felucians. But so if you skip to Rogue Shadow, sometimes it saves your progress in the level, and if the level is designed appropriately, then you can actually skip a lot of backtracking by going back to your ship. And in this level, Cloud City, it happens to allow us to skip an entire mini-boss fight, which is the group of Mandalorians. Chopa is a Mandalorian who has become a mercenary crime lord, and he's got several Mandalorians working for him. Chopa is pretty cool. I always liked him too. Novice, who's in our chat here, is another runner of this game, and he always uses the Chopa skin when he plays, I've noticed, in New Game Plus. So, as you can see, we're back into Cloud City now. We exited back to our ship, but we are going to go to the next checkpoint that we have to hit. And by doing this Return to Rogue Shadow thing, we skip quite a bit. What's interesting is because it uses loads, you have to load in and out of Cloud City. This skip actually is slower or faster depending on the console you're playing on. On Wii, the skip actually saves the least amount of time. I think it's only about 45 seconds, give or take, because of how slow the loads are. On Switch, the fastest console, that skip saves about 1:15, which is a lot for one little easy short thing. Switch, a free 1:15 has been taken off recently, but nobody's actually done it in a run yet. I recently got a Switch working, and I'm going to do more runs of this game on Switch myself soon enough, but you kill these mammoth guys quickly by dropping them over the pit. We've been informed by this point in the level that Senator Garm has been kidnapped by a mercenary bounty hunter named Cleef. Cleef is a Gungan, so we are going to take him out to save the Senator. That's why. He's not having any damage taken from him with this saber throw. That was kind of crappy. And weird, honestly. Alright, we got him. That was sloppy, but... Shoutouts to Cleef, the Gungan bounty hunter who we tear apart.
What are you doing?
He's like the toughest Gungan. The cutscene with him's actually really funny. He's like a tough outlaw Gungan. Silly. Alright, after Cleef, though, there's nothing stopping us. We can go straight to Chopa, who has 3 phases of his boss fight. First is fighting 2 of his Mandalorians. Second is the big one, the really tough part of his boss fight. We'll get to that in a second. So first... Oh, they're gonna hit me. Yep. Defeat these Mandalorians by grouping them together and using lightning on them both at the same time. That's the trick there. It's kind of fun. Hopes you kill them both quickly. We're gonna let our force recharge for the next boss fight before we finish off this Mando. And that's good. Alright. Now let's hope that we get the good strat. We didn't, because it's impossible to spam saber throw on Wii. Yeah, I'm leaning towards any one of those strats, but probably not. They're possible, but they're really difficult on Wii. The Basilisk War Droid, though, here is the second phase. He's the most durable boss in the game. He's got the most health in the game. Chopa is riding him. He's been the bane of our existence for a long time, but we found some things to make him a little easier. There's a manipulation to keep him standing still and not hit you at all in the beginning of the level. Or, not the level, sorry. The beginning of his fight. but I missed it because you have to spam saber throw. It's kind of like getting him into a stun lock, really. And it's as I've mentioned a couple times, it's hard to spam saber throw on Wii. But you perform the QTE on him, and he will be done. Nice. Alright, now finally the final phase of Chopa's fight is Chopa himself, who's pretty weak. The best way to kill him is to choke him, and then as he's suspended midair, you let go of him right before you run out of force. And you can attack him midair with your lightsaber to save some time, and it's pretty quick that way. Yeah, next Disney Plus series is about Cleef. Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna make it happen. How did he get to this point in his life? Yeah, that's the big question. Alright, so this level is much like Vader's flagship. It's not actually a level, it's a cutscene. It's a big story cutscene that disguises itself as a level. And you gather your rebels on Corellia, and they decide that they are the Rebel Alliance now, and it's kind of like the reveal that this is the birth of the Rebel Alliance. And but Vader shows up, throws a net over the whole thing, tells Starkiller that he was lying to him the whole time, and that he was only using him to root out all these rebels. And now Starkiller's a good guy for real, because Vader has betrayed him not once, but twice. Too much. It's a good cutscene, honestly. It's one of my favorites. It's a good one. I lied. It's that one, you know, yeah, from the meme. That's a good one. Darth Vader. I lied. And finally, the last level of the game is the Death Star. Not the first Death Star, not yet completed. Still under construction. Starkiller has followed Vader, who has taken the rebels to the Emperor on board the Death Star. And here we go to save them. Now, this is pretty cool. You can see these laser tunnels where the Death Star's laser will fire. You got to be careful not to be on the bridge when that fires, or you'll get disintegrated. It's an instant death. Luckily, this game is quite forgiving. It's really more of a story game. Deaths don't really mean anything. It just takes you back to the last checkpoint. So in like a speedrun, obviously that's not great, but you don't have lives or anything. Like you can't game over. Oop, jump. I like to get over behind these boxes so that the Imperial that I left alive in that room can't hit me while I'm opening up that door. Alright. Oh, Shock Trooper caught me, the guy with the electro staff. They like to try to detain you and shock you and stun you. That's really it. It's really annoying. Here, we're really just supposed to get through these force field generators, but by using the Maelstrom ability, you can destroy those things on the other side, which it reveals here is the tractor beam. You have to destroy 4 of them, but the game doesn't tell you that you can destroy 2 of them before the objective actually starts. That was bad, though. Oh no. This part can really troll. It can be rough. I've had some rough ones. Actually, I lose 1 minute and 15 seconds to that section because I just kept missing in my PSP world record of this category. So it's not the most optimized. Actually, what's funny is that run was like literally the greatest run of Force Unleashed I've ever had up until that point. It's why I haven't run it again. And the final time, despite losing a minute 15 in Death Star, isn't even bad. It's like, okay. That's how good the rest of the run was, and how far that can carry you. Okay, they both died. We're gonna grab that health and continue on. Death Star's like the only level in this speedrun that I think is actually like it's really concerning that you could die in it. I think it's the only one where like you eat enough damage that like you might actually die. I don't see that happening really in most other levels. I mean, there's always like random stuff, but I'm pretty good on health, and that was quick, so I'm going to move on to the next room. First, in this room, we have to kill some stormtroopers. Come on. And after they're dead, these jetpack troopers appear. We get rid of them quickly by performing a saber throw while they're over the chasm, and they fall below the death plane, and it counts as them getting like a ring out, and they die. So that's pretty cool. Easy to do. Is he gonna die? No. Thought he was. There we go. Now he's done. Moving on. This ATST, despite being the last ATST of the game and the only one in the Death Star level, is not the strongest in the game. The strongest ATST in this game is actually the one in Raxus Prime 2. It's just got the most health, and that's really what I'm using to define that. But with that, that's pretty much it. We are now moving on to the second to final boss of the game, Darth Vader. So we make it to the Emperor's throne room, and we are going to fight Vader. Something that Starkiller has had coming for him for a long time at this point. This game's great about that, I gotta say. They really don't pull any punches with the fact that Vader completely destroys and ruins Starkiller's life. In every conceivable way. He never had a life outside of Vader, and then Vader also just ruins everything about the life he has. Really, in a way, a good shining moment for perhaps, like, the main bad guy of Star Wars, you know? Like, you want a villain. This is pretty good at making Vader a villain. But we beat him up with aerial assault just like every other Jedi and Sith boss in the game. And then we perform this QTE on him, which is the longest and hardest, or hardest being fastest of the bunch. Don't want to mess it up. And now, if you are familiar with Force Unleashed, you know that we have a decision to make. If we fight the Emperor, we choose the light side ending, and if we fight Darth Vader, we choose the dark side ending. Now, we choose Darth Vader because since Darth Vader has already been fought by us, he's extremely weak, and it's actually really easy to kill Darth Vader the second time. So for the speedrun, we always do the dark side ending. Timer is going to end on final input, which is coming up in just a second. That's it. So that ended 1:16:37. Considering we lost the stream for about 10 minutes, that came out to about a 1:06, and that was pretty good. Like, that's not bad. Can live with that in terms of actual game time, you know. So yeah, that's the game. That's Force Unleashed. Now, I will be back in just a few minutes with another Force Unleashed run. Someone mentioned it in the chat earlier, but the PSP version of this game has some exclusive material that no other version of this game has. One of those is some bonus missions called Historic Missions, where you play through some particular moments in the Star Wars saga in Force Unleashed playstyle. It's pretty fun. They're very broken, so we are going to do our best. It's a little tough. Hopefully we'll get it under... estimate. So, alright. Well, they can cut me whenever they want now, and I'll be back in just a few minutes for the historic missions run. Stick around.